Welcome to Cat and Jess Talk the Best, where we're going to be talking about IMDb's top 250 movies from April 12th, 2018. My name is Kat.
And I'm Jess.
And today we are happy to introduce Matt. He's here with us, our contest winner. How's it going?
Great. How are you guys doing?
Good.
I just went through like a hailstorm, so yeah, I'm not doing fantastic.
Well, alrighty then.
And today we are talking about number 235, Dead Poets Society, which is a comedy-drama film from 1989. This has an 8.1 on 340,890 votes. And the spoiler-free synopsis, set in 1959 at the fictional elite conservative Vermont boarding school, Welton Academy, it tells the story of an English teacher who inspires his students through his teaching of poetry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah. That's why it's a synopsis.
A ring endorsement for it. Yep, that's pretty much it.
Yep, exactly. Alright, so the directors. Last name is always struggled with. Peter Ware? I think. I don't know. He did the movies Witness, The Truman Show, which is also on our list at 201, and Master and Commander, The Far Side of the World. And of course, our actors, we have one of my favorites, Robin Williams, Robert Sean Leonard, and Ethan Hawke. And I actually liked Ethan Hawke in this.
Yeah.
Which is kind of
I
shocking.
think he did a good job in this.
Because I don't like Ethan Hawke. No offense to him. I just don't.
Man, rough crowd.
He was pretty bad in Before Sunset.
Oh, God. That was awful.
I think everyone was bad in Before Sunset, so.
That's true.
Thank you.
Alright, so Rotten Tomatoes. The average rating was a 7.3. It has 86% on 56 critical reviews. 48 are fresh and 8 are rotten. The two fresh, Hank Gallo said, on the surface, Robin Williams appears to be giving his standard performance as Professor Keating. Witty, sincere, and lovable, but there's much more here. Yeah. I don't have anything to argue with that. And Variety staff says, story sings whenever Williams is on screen. Screen belongs just as often to Leonard, who, as Neil, has a quality of darting confidence mixed with hesitancy. And Hawke, as the painfully shy Todd, gives a haunting performance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Three really good performances.
Yeah. I don't think there was any that I really had an issue with, except for one, because it's not how I picture him all the time, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
We'll get to that one. And then the two rotten, Jonathan Rosenbaum. The moral divisions set up between characters are childishly overdrawn, and worst of all, the behavior shown by the boys and adults frequently reeks of falsity and contrivance.
Contrivance.
There you go.
See, like,
I knew he would know what it said.
of course.
Welcome to Matthew's English podcast.
It's like, are you not an English teacher or what?
No, I'm not a teacher at all.
I am. But
Yes, you are. But you're not an English teacher.
no, I'm a music teacher.
And then Roger Ebert, not the worst of countless recent movies about good kids and hidebound and authoritarian older people. It may, however, be the most shameless in its attempt to pander an adolescent audience.
Rough, Ebert. Very rough.
Yeah.
Great, that was rough.
It's like, I don't agree with that.
I don't either.
And then the consensus, affecting performances from the young cast and genuinely inspirational turn from Robin Williams, Grant, Peter Ware, God. That was confusing. Alright. From Robin Williams, Grant, Peter Ware's prep school drama top honors.
That's a mouthful.
Yeah.
Was nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah. And it won an Oscar as well for the director. Or
Yes,
no,
the
best film.
screenplay.
Yeah.
He won for the screenplay.
Yeah, so. But we'll get to that in just a minute. So, skipping around. So the income, the budget was $16.4 million. And it made well over that. It made its money back by quite a bit. So the gross...
something million, right?
Yeah, the worldwide was $235,860,116 is what it made.
Very nice.
Almost 96 of that in the U.S. and then 140 of it was international. Opening weekend, it had a limited release at 8 theaters. It made $340,000, and then its wide release was $7.5 million.
I have a question about that. Why just 8 theaters? That's just like a random number.
I didn't know. I just found the number.
I don't know. I'm asking everybody here.
I don't know.
Movies will do that sometimes. They'll open what's called a limited release to gauge audience participation, and then they will go for a wider release once they see that there's actually an interest there for it.
They did that with Infinity War. They released it in like 3 theaters in LA 3 days before.
So I'm guessing these 8 theaters in the U.S., I'm guessing they're like the major big cities.
Maybe
Right,
they might have been all in
like
LA
I would
too.
guess you're talking New York City, you're talking Los Angeles.
Yeah.
But like your big name, like historical name theaters probably is where those original 8 were.
Yeah. Like the Chinese theater is probably one of them that it was released at.
That's in L.A.
And its all-time domestic rank is number 732. And the highest all-time rank is number 70. It reached that on October 5th, 1989. It's not long after it came out. And that's all about the money.
All the money.
And then the awards, it did win an Oscar, as we were saying, for Best Writing for the screenplay. And then it won a BAFTA award for Best Film and Original Score. ASCAP Film and Television, Top Box Office. It won a couple Best Foreign Films. The Casting Society of America, Best Casting.
Hard to argue there.
Yeah.
Good job casting this movie.
Agreed.
In Germany, it won a Golden Screen, which I think it just means it's a good movie.
I guess.
It doesn't say, it just says Golden Screen. A lot of these are Best Foreign Films, Best International Film. Robin Williams won a Jupiter Award for Best International Actor. It is in the Online Film and Television Association Hall of Fame. And it also won a Political Film Society Award for Democracy. That's interesting.
So I can see that with the theme of conformity and liberalism versus conservatism and generational differences between how people see things and how they react to the world around them.
That's true.
Agreed. Good point.
And yeah, the other two are just... One's an audience award from the Warsaw International Film Festival, and then Young Artist Awards won Best Motion Picture. And that's the end of the awards.
Yeah.
So, initial thoughts.
Just let our guest go first.
Alright, Matt. What do you think?
I love this movie. I have loved this movie since I saw it when I was a kid. I have probably watched this movie 100 times in my life.
Okay.
This is up there with the Top Guns of the world. Are movies that I've seen so many times. I love the story. I love the acting. I love the writing. I love the delivery. I love the themes that it portrays and that it delves into. It's a great coming-of-age story. It's a great story about kind of trying to define your generation and who you are compared to the generations that come before you, which is, always a great theme in coming-of-age stories.
Yeah.
To me, it's very reminiscent of a couple other movies from the same time frame, which are School Ties with Brendan Fraser and Matt Damon.
You don't think I've seen that?
It's a
haven't either.
great prep school movie, also.
School Ties.
And then also, I get a lot of shades of Footloose while watching this movie.
Yeah.
While they do different
Yeah.
things, they deal with the same deep down themes as far as conservatism in a small town and the children in that town and era trying to kind of break free of that and express themselves in a way that the older generation does not like.
Yeah. That is a good comparison.
Yeah,
Footloose does do a lot of that too.
it does. You know,
So-
Footloose
Yep.
is a musical too now, right?
Yeah. So what'd you think?
Well,
This was both our first times watching it.
I've been holding back actually watching this. I've been wanting to watch this for quite a long time, but when I knew it was going to be on our list, I just held off a little bit
Waited.
longer. And I just, since I'm a teacher, this movie's been recommended to me so many times just for like the teaching thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved this movie. I did. I cried. I laughed. I was pissed off at the end because I couldn't really relate because there are parents that do the exact same thing. They blame everyone else except themselves.
Yeah.
So that really struck a chord with me.
Agreed, and people act like that's a new thing, but
It's really
not.
yeah, it's been happening forever.
Yeah. It just seems more prevalent now because people can see it on social media, whereas
yeah.
before it wasn't available to see on, because we didn't have social media really.
Yeah, you used to blame your teacher, and the only one who knew was you and the teacher, whereas now you blame the teacher and then go post it on Facebook and 100 trillion people see it.
Yep.
Exactly.
I liked it. I need to see it again to determine how much I like it. But I didn't think it was bad. I liked the acting. The story was good. There was a couple parts I was getting kind of bored. But it was also like right after nap time, so that might have been it.
That sounds like you can.
Yeah.
Yeah, that will affect that, yeah.
So I do need to watch it again when I didn't just wake up to determine my actual thoughts on it. But I did think it was pretty good.
Agreed.
Yeah, plus it's a hard movie to grasp all of the concepts and the themes on just one viewing.
Yeah.
It's like a really good deep book. You kind of have to get in there a couple of times to really start fleshing everything out.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna watch it again soon. I know my school year's starting very soon, so I might watch it before the kids come back.
There you go. I'll
I am
find.
reminded. I remember when Community was on the air, the TV show Community, and there was one episode in the first season where they had a professor who was basically just a comedic version of Robin Williams' character in this movie. The funniest homage to Dead Poet Society I've ever seen. It was hilarious.
That's great.
Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert!
Alright, that was your warning. If you haven't watched the film yet, then stop listening till you've watched it. And come back and listen here.
So we start out at what looks to be like the first day welcoming ceremonies at, I almost think, Catholic Church.
Yeah.
That's what I thought too. It was like my Catholicness was like, oh gosh, what is this going to be?
But we're actually at a preparatory school for rich, snobby kids.
Yeah.
Actually, more like rich, snobby parents and their recluse kids.
Yeah.
It's an all boys school too.
Yeah, it is an all-boys school.
Yep, absolutely. Which was and is still actually kind of common, but much
Yeah.
more common back then.
Mm-hmm. One thing I noticed was the bagpipes. They
Yes,
were
I love
driving
that.
me crazy.
Oh, see, I love bagpipes.
Well, no, I don't mind bagpipes. It's just they were not on key the whole time, and it was driving me crazy.
Yes, I noticed
There's
that
a couple
too.
times that they play instruments in this movie, and it was driving me crazy every time.
Oh, the saxophone scene.
Oh, yes. I was about ready to just leave the room because it was so bad.
Yeah, his first couple of riffs on the saxophone were not great. That last little bit, though, was really good.
Yeah.
After he the poem, that last little bit was really good. But, yeah, the first couple riffs on the sax were not the best.
Yeah. It's really hard being musicians and listening to something like that, where it's just like, okay, can you just not do that? It's just like, it's cringeworthy.
Yeah, I can imagine. I have zero musical talent, so it doesn't bother me that much.
You are lucky.
Seriously.
Because it does drive us insane.
Yes.
I did write down what the banner said: tradition, honor, discipline, and excellence.
Yes,
Yeah.
the 4 pillars of Welton,
Yep.
or Helton, as the kids call it.
Yeah.
Help Wilton Academy.
Yeah. And then later, the older boys are in their dorms and they change the names. I didn't catch it. I didn't write it down of what they changed the tradition, honor, discipline, and excellence to, but I know it was hilarious.
Yeah, it was like basically it was like crap, excrement, stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. I knew one of them was excrement.
All right. Well, this is where we're first introduced to Robin Williams.
Yep.
Where we meet the former English teacher has retired, so they brought back Robin Williams as Professor John Keating,
Yeah.
who was an honors graduate from Welton Academy when he was younger.
Yeah, because they did his students do end up finding a picture of him in his old yearbook, and he looks really funny.
Yes. I always wondered if that was actually like an old picture of Robin Williams. I didn't look up the trivia to see if it was.
It is an old picture of Robin.
There you go. I was gonna say she would know.
I looked it up. Back. Okay.
And then he is like introducing them to poetry, and they're all like,
well, first we get the kids all headed back up to their dorm room.
Oh yeah.
And we've got the new kid who is rooming with one of the popular kids.
Yep.
So and the one kid there is kind of like making fun of him, like, oh, who's the stiff? As the stiff walks up behind him.
Yeah.
Which is really funny.
That's how it always works. You're
Like,
talking bad about
smooth.
somebody, and they walk up right behind you.
You're like, oh,
Yeah.
they're right there, aren't they?
Yeah. And then we get the parents leaving.
Yep.
This is where we're introduced to Red from that 70s show.
Yes, and that's all I see him as. I was just waiting for him to say something about putting his foot up somebody's ass.
Right, he literally plays the exact same character in this movie as he did in that show.
Yeah, just without all the language.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, which was really good. I like seeing him. I like him as an actor. I like that character that he plays. He plays it very well.
Maybe that's why he plays it all the time, is because he just plays it so well.
Yeah,
Because there are a few actors that they just play that character so well that they continuously get that same type of role.
Yeah, it's like Michelle
typecast.
Rodriguez. She always plays angry lady.
Yeah.
It's like typecasting is not always a good thing, though.
No, it's not, but I think it worked out really well in this and in that 70s show.
Agreed.
Yep, he was fantastic in both. Absolutely. All right, so as the kids are hanging out, Red from that 70s show knocks on the door.
Yeah.
And he heads in and he talks to Dr. House's best friend, who is his son.
Exactly what I thought of.
And
It's true.
He tells him
yeah.
that he's too many activities this year, so he can't be on the yearbook committee.
Yeah. To me, it sounded like he said he wasn't allowed to do anything.
Well, he's definitely not allowed to act. We know
Yeah.
that.
It sounded like he was just telling him you can't be in any extracurricular stuff. You need to just focus on school.
Yeah, it seems like he's allowed to do crew
Okay.
because he was on the crew team when they were in the boats.
Yeah.
doing their crew thing. So it seems he's probably allowed to do that. I think that's because every like Ivy League brat kid does crew. So.
That's funny.
But he decides to question his dad's decision,
Yeah.
to which he basically, if there weren't people around, would have grabbed a beating for.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking too, actually. I'm like, oh, talking back, that one got him smack upside the head.
Or a foot in an ass.
There we go.
So he's not going to be doing the yearbook, which
Nope.
is kind of a bummer. He's really, because he was going to be the assistant editor.
Yeah,
of
he
the
was going to be
yearbook
the
this year.
assistant editor of the yearbook, and he was super excited about it, and now he's not allowed to do it.
Yep. So now he just has to do class.
Yep.
And boats.
And
rowboats.
Rowboats.
That's boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds pretty boring to me, actually.
If I had to do that in high school, I would have died.
Seriously.
I did so much.
This is where we go to English class.
Yep. And it's funny because Mr. Keating comes in and then walks to the back of the class and then walks out, and he's expecting them to follow them, and they're all just staring at him like, "What the fuck?"
He's like, "Well, aren't you coming?"
Yeah, it's so funny, and I guess I pop his head back in, and finally, one kid is like, "All right, I'm gonna go ahead and try this," and walks out of class out into the atrium there, where we have all the ancient graduates and athletes from the school.
Yeah.
And they're listening to the whispers of the kids of the past who are now dead.
Yeah.
Which he reminds them of.
He's saying carpe diem, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, carpe diem, seize the day.
Yes. 'Cause he basically wants them to not be boring like their parents are wanting them to do. Because basically all of them are there for what their parents want them to do, not what they want to do.
Exactly.
Correct. He wants them to be nonconformists. Which is good. He wants them to think for themselves.
Yeah.
Which I think is honestly, if a teacher can teach you that, then you've had a teacher changed your life.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's my goal as a teacher.
I think
Do you stand on desks and cool stuff like that?
I have stood on desks before, yeah.
Well, she's kind of short, though.
So she kind of has to stand on it to pay attention.
Sometimes. If she's working with high schoolers, definitely.
Good thing I work with elementary kids.
Yeah, you're taller than them.
And so we go back to poetry class.
Yep.
And we're back in the classroom. We're sitting down, and he has one of the kids start reading from the textbook for the class.
Yeah, the
And it's this
intro.
really boring nonsense explanation, which if you were an English major in college, you will understand how this textbook sounded, because it's awful, and they all sound like that.
Probably sounds about like history of music textbooks.
Yeah, those are pretty boring. But you gotta have a fun teacher.
Yeah, we definitely had a fun teacher.
So we were good there.
But yeah, so I've definitely read, in my history classes and my English classes, I definitely had a lot of textbooks that were as boring as this one.
Yeah.
And he tells them to just rip out the entire introduction because he doesn't give a shit about that.
Which, normally for me, ripping pages out of a book would tear out my soul, but this is a textbook, and that's all I ever want to do. Because I hate textbooks so much.
There's a difference.
See, I love textbooks. I still read textbooks to this day, and I've been out of college for 15 years.
Dang.
I was I still read my textbooks too.
And this is where we get one of my favorite quotes from a movie, which is absolutely fantastic, and Robin Williams delivers it great. He calls the whole class in for a huddle, which is basically huddle up, and they're still lost and confused as to what the hell to do.
Yeah.
Not sure.
Because it still seems like the first couple days of class with him.
Yeah.
So they're like, this is a new teacher. We don't know what the fuck is going on half the time.
Yeah, absolutely. And he gives them this quote about poetry, and I think it's absolutely amazing because I think it explains his character and his motivations to a T.
So are you going to talk about it now, or are you going to save it for favorite lines?
Well, I was going to read it now. I can
do
still
it.
Put it in my line, but I think it's a fantastic quote to talk about. So
Go for it.
it says, "We don't read and write poetry because it's cute. We read and write poetry because we are members of the human race, and the human race is filled with passion. And medicine, law, business, engineering, these are noble pursuits and necessary to sustain life. But poetry, beauty, romance, love, these are what we stay alive for." And I think that this is Robin Williams' character in this movie to a T. The essence, the core of him.
Yeah. I was going to write that line down, but it was really long, so I didn't write it down.
Yeah, I was like, poetry, whoa, there's a whole thing of it.
Yeah.
It's pretty long, but
because I really liked it, because I related to it not in the poetry sense, but more in the music sense. Because
Right.
I don't know if you remember, Jess, but when I was a freshman in college, when there was that CSU Pueblo Confessions page, and everyone was making fun of all the music majors.
yes, I do remember that.
That just like made me think of, I wish that I had seen this movie to deliver that line and just replace the poetry with music and have them argue with that fact.
You could use poetry because poetry is music and music is poetry.
That's true. I just wish that I had this line, because just being made fun of for what you choose to do with your life, it sucks. And then this line would have been a perfect comeback for that.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Because it just explains everything. Like, you can't just be bland and boring. You have to have something in your life to be entertaining and, like, love-filled and all this and that and everything else.
Things you stay alive for.
Yep,
as
that's
he
it.
says.
Yeah. You have to have a passion in life. You have to have something that drives you, because just your job doesn't drive you.
Yeah.
You have to have something that drives you.
It depends on your job. Jess's job is kind of both in that sense. It's her job as well as what drives her, because it is music.
I kind of lucked out there.
Yeah.
Being a teacher really isn't a job. It's more of a calling for a lot of people.
Yeah. Definitely.
It is.
I don't remember where we're at now.
Well, we can skip ahead kind of to the next really important thing, which is they discover Keating's biography in his yearbook.
Yeah.
He was a senior, which has a really funky picture of him, which is great.
Yeah.
And it says that he was a member of the Dead Poets Society.
And they're all super curious as to what the Dead Poets Society is.
Well, yeah, it's kind of a random thing. Dead
Yeah.
poets, like, what? What's this about?
Yeah, which is, so they track him down, and they find him. He's out wandering around whistling to himself, which is what he does in this movie.
Yeah, quite often.
Yeah, he's just walking around whistling, no cares in the world, which is great. And he tells them that him, some guys from the school, some girls from the town would all get together at the old Indian cave, and they would perform spoken word poetry from the greats, which are, Whitman, Thoreau, Shelley, and then also some poetry that they had written themselves.
Yeah. And now all these boys that went and talked to him are like super interested. They're like, what? This sounds interesting. And they're in their like study hall in the evening or whatever, and they're trying to figure out where this old cave is.
Yeah, the best route to get to the cave.
Yeah.
You got like a map out with compasses and sextants and trying to figure out exactly where they need to go. The one kid says he knows where it is.
Yeah.
So their plan is to go, and our lovey-dovey character Knox, who is in love with the girl with the boyfriend, the football-playing boyfriend, of course.
Of course.
That's how it always works.
Always.
Absolutely. Yep, the nerd is in love with the girl who's with the football player, no doubt. Because that's just life.
Yeah.
Always.
But Mr. Keating had told them that the Dead Poets Society, the poetry being read, made the ladies swoon. So he's extremely interested in making the ladies swoon.
The one specific lady. Not all of them, just the one.
Well, I mean, if he wants more, why not?
I mean, yeah. But he's in love.
Yeah, after meeting her one time.
In love, air quotes.
Which, whatever, she's a cute girl, so, I mean, why not?
Yeah, I'll give him that.
She seems nice enough.
Oh, one part we did miss is, Neil, is it? He ends up with Keating's old book for the Dead Poets Society.
Yes. Now, how do we think that he got that? I'm 100% convinced Robin Williams put that book in his office.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yep,
Put
agreed.
that book in his...
Yeah.
He's like, it's
He's
not
like-
me giving this to you, but, you know, here you go.
Like, I've already given you the idea of the Dead Poet Society. Now I'm going to let you have my old book that I used for the Dead Poet Society to intrigue you more.
Yeah, to kind of push you along the way without saying anything.
Little guidance.
Yep. Which is great, which is fantastic. So, we have our own Dead Poet Society now.
Yeah. They are in the cave. And, Ethan Hawke's character doesn't want to read because he's, like, very shy and
Yeah,
doesn't...
he's terrified of, like, public speaking in any kind of way.
This is me in middle school. Absolutely hated it.
You get better as you go on, trust me.
Yeah, Professor Keating lays it out for him later on where he basically says, look, Neil feels worthless.
Yeah.
And that's his problem. And he's right.
Because they're all comparing him to his brother.
Yep, older brother.
Yes. Yes, his older brother went there. And they even say that when he first gets there. They first ask him, well, how'd you get in here? And he's like, I'm so-and-so's brother. He's like, oh, you're that kid. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
So-
know you by your brother.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer.
That always sucks.
Yeah. I feel like that was my little brother growing up because my older brother was a horrible student, so the teachers didn't really care. But I was a really good student, so then when my little brother came through and had any teachers that I had, they knew him because of me.
That's how my brothers and I are.
Yeah, that happened to my sister and my brother too because I'm the oldest. So
Dang.
Oh gosh.
So we've all got it.
Was it the thing I liked about their first meeting with the Dead Poet Society? The kid pulls out, you know.
Oh, yeah, the nude picture of the swimmer or, like, model or whatever.
I'm like, such boys.
Yep. I knew exactly what it was when he, like, pulled it out of his pocket and it started unfolding, and I was like, oh, God, here we go.
you've got the cave, and you've got the fire, and the dancing around, and you've got the naked girl picture. And later on, they're smoking, and they're drinking, and it looks like they bring hookers. I mean, it looks
Yeah.
it's really Lord of the Fly type of thing with, like, just kind of like boys just doing what nature says to do type of stuff.
Yeah, boys being boys, it does definitely have a Lord of the Flies feel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, like right after that is when Neil, is it? When he decides that he wants to be an actor?
Yes, Neil decides he wants to be in the play.
Yep, because he sees the advertisement for auditions for A Midsummer's Night's Dream.
Yep.
Midsummer Night's Dream.
There we go.
Shakespeare's Best.
Don't think I've read that one.
Oh, so good. And he has the best part. He plays Puck, which is amazing, and he does a really good job at it.
Is that the lead?
Yes, Puck is the
pretty
lead in
much.
the Midsummer Night's Dream. Puck is like a fairy king type of guy.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I kind of gathered from the bits of the play that we did get to see him in.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I was like, speaking of Shakespeare, when they were in Keating's class, they did a little bit of Shakespeare, and he
Yeah.
was doing it different voices. I was laughing so hard.
Yes, yeah, you got a little bit of Robin Williams like stage comedy here.
Yeah.
Which was really good. He's such a good impersonator, such a good just kind of like ad-lib actor. He does such a great job with it.
Yeah. He does a great job with any voice he tries to do.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I loved him in Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Yes. I love that
I mean,
one.
I loved him in Aladdin, but
Yeah.
that's
He does
me.
a really good job with Aladdin, too. And, yeah.
I have seen that Disney movie. It's a rare Disney movie I've seen.
Yeah. Then, is this where they get up on the desk? Or is that later?
Yeah.
That's kind of like our next big moment is they're back in English class, and he's teaching them to dare, right? To dare to do things. And so he steps up on his desk and then steps off the front and then invites the entire class to do it behind them.
Yeah.
To do it behind him.
It's also to get a different perspective of things, too.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. And This is where he tells them that their homework for Monday is to write a poem of their own, and then they're going to perform it.
Yep.
In front of the class.
I heard that, and I was just like thinking of myself in school, and I was like, my heart just dropped. I was like, I would never have been able to do that.
I mean, he does make that comment about,
and he even points out that Ethan Hawke's character is terrified of this assignment. I was like, yep, that's me.
Yeah, he's like, don't think that I don't know that this assignment terrifies you.
Yeah.
Which is the whole reason I'm giving it to you.
Yeah. Which is great because it helps him later on when they actually do the assignment. It takes him out of his shell a little bit.
Yes, absolutely. And I've had to do this for English classes. I've had to write original pieces and then perform them. And it is terrifying because, especially with poetry, because, like, regular writing is one thing, but poetry is almost always like a very personal, very internal type of thing.
Yeah.
So having to write that out and then perform it is, I think, extra terrifying. It's a lot worse than having to read like an essay or something.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
It's putting a piece of yourself out there.
Yeah.
Being vulnerable in a way.
Giving it.
Yeah, it's like writing an original composition and then playing it for a crowd of people.
Yeah. We've had to do that a couple times.
We've done that, actually.
It's very nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I think that's the same idea.
And he,
Go ahead.
Robin Williams, when they do actually perform it, he gets Ethan Hawke's character up there, and the way that he pulls at him, it's almost like what I did when I was in middle school, giving my book report. Like, I had my friend standing right in front of me, and I was giving it to her, not everyone else. Like, I could hear everyone else, and I knew they were there, but I was just trying to give it to her.
Yep.
And that's what Robin Williams is trying to do. He's like, don't focus on them, pretend they're not there, just give it to me.
Yeah, close your eyes.
Yeah.
He covers his eyes, and he's spinning him around to kind of disorient him, right? Because he's locked into this whole I'm in front of the class thing, which is terrifying him. So by covering his eyes and then spinning him around, it kind of disorients him enough to where he's able to open his mind and just sort of let it flow. And he comes up with a really good several lines of poetry, I think.
Yeah. I liked it from what I caught of it.
Yeah, it was really good.
I don't know a lot about poetry, so I can't really say if something's that great or not.
It was.
I think it's hard, and this is the whole reason why I think Robin Williams' character, Professor Keating, has them tear out that introduction to that poetry book because, right, it gives you this mathematical way to determine how great a poem is.
Yeah.
And that's just the completely wrong way. It's like analyzing music mathematically. That's the wrong way to do it, right? If you want to, because a poem that's great to me could mean nothing to you and vice versa, because that poem touches me in a certain way or speaks to me in a certain way that it doesn't to you.
Yeah. That's one thing that even when they were reading that introduction, I was even like, that makes no sense at all. Why would anyone use that? This is an art form, not a math problem.
This is so dry and boring.
Well, it was written by a guy with a PhD, so that explains the dry and boring.
Oh, yes.
We know a couple that are the dry and boring PhD people, but then we also know some other ones that are
the wild and crazy ones.
Dr.
Yeah,
Chi.
I know a few wild and crazy ones from my time. Usually they were the history professors.
Yes!
Yeah.
They spent a little too much time in the 60s and 70s.
Dr. Chi.
Yeah, definitely Dr. Chi, our music history teacher.
He was a crazy man.
Yeah, history teachers are a rare breed, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And, history teachers are pretty crazy. I mean, even
Mm-hmm.
outside the music department, they're pretty crazy.
All right, so we've got more fun Robin Williams stuff going on. We've got him teaching them, having them read lines of poetry and then kick goals with a soccer ball.
Oh, yeah. That was fun.
Yeah, which I think is kind of interesting. It reminds me of this scene from, I don't know if you guys ever watched the show Jag.
No.
Nope.
there was this training program that they had come up with for some of the Navy SEALs in the show, and they would read lines of Shakespeare before doing things like jumping out of planes to kind of get their mind focused.
Huh.
Yeah, it was really interesting. I wondered when I watched that show if they had taken that from this, since this came out a long time before that.
It's a possibility. There's a lot of things that will take something. Oops, sorry.
That's true.
Yeah, there's a lot of shows and movies and books and things that pay homage to this movie.
Yeah,
that's true. I noticed when they were kicking the balls while reading, he was playing Handel.
Yeah, he was.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I was like, I know that piece.
And there's a little bit of Beethoven in there too.
Yes.
Yeah, he's the orchestra conductor, and it's fantastic. He looks like so great, like having such a great time doing it.
Yeah.
And then one of my other favorite scenes of him teaching / not teaching is when he has them in the courtyard, and he has the 3 kids start walking.
Yeah.
And they all start walking like in different ways at different paces, and then by like the end of the second lap around, they're like perfectly in pace, and he's like marching along with them, left, right,
yeah,
because they've all formed to the same walking pattern. And it's just like such a perfect description of what he's trying to get them not to do, which is to conform and fall in line, which everybody seems to do almost without even thinking about it.
I had that problem. I was thinking of marching band, actually.
Yeah. Well, we were supposed to.
I know, but still, that just made me think of marching band. I'm like, well, they gotta be like the same.
It did for me too, because when I was first learning how to march, we actually kind of did something quite like that, which we just kind of did whatever we wanted, and then our band teacher started playing a piece of music, and we all ended up walking in time with it, because we had already been musicians at that point for at least 4 years.
Right.
And then you put the music in, so we're just going to follow the music instinctively.
True.
Yeah. Yeah, I just like that scene. And then he just tells them to just spend the rest of the class walking around however they want to.
Yeah. I like the one guy who was walking around like a chicken.
Well, the one that...
Oh, go ahead.
That was like the one standing just by
himself. Oh, yeah, there was one standing over in the corner.
Yeah, I'm expressing my right not to walk.
Yeah.
He's like, well, alright.
Yeah, Professor Keating's like, that's what I'm talking about, nonconformist.
Like, that's exactly my point with this activity.
It's like, have your own beliefs.
Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic, yeah. And so then we have, our next big scene, I think, is the next Dead Poets Society meeting where What's-His-Face brings the girls.
Yeah.
And he changes his name to what did he change it to?
Oh, it was something hilarious. Oh, what was it?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I remember it.
She's looking.
I am looking it up.
Oh, I know it was really funny.
Yeah, Nwanda.
There it is.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, Nwanda.
You beat me to it.
Well, Alicia gave me the answer, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's sitting over on the couch, and she whispered, I made her watch the movie with me.
That's funny.
And she just mouthed the answer over.
There you go.
Thank you!
How helpful.
Yeah, and so the one guy, he puts lipstick on his cheeks like he's a Native American.
Yeah.
And then he changes his name to Nwanda, and then he starts reciting poetry from Shakespeare, sonnets, to these 2 women that he brought, and telling them that he's making it up for them on the fly.
Yeah.
Even though they're like very famous poems.
Yeah.
It shows you either how crazy he's acting at that point to impress these girls, or how stupid these girls are.
Yeah, I think I think it's more of a showing that, like, the power of poetry, but then also just kind of like how ignorant the average person is to it.
Yeah.
Like, they find it beautiful and awesome, but they have no idea where it comes from.
Yep. That's me. I'm ignorant to poetry. Very ignorant to poetry. The most poetry I hear is your haikus every episode.
Haikus.
I'll have to let you listen to one of them. They're
Okay.
Oh god, haikus, yeah.
Then we go. Oh no, we're still in the cave. Did we hit everything?
Yeah, we kind of. We had the saxophone scene.
Oh no.
Yeah, first it was god awful.
I was like, is he even actually trying anything? Like, what's he trying to do? Like, that doesn't even sound like a saxophone right now.
It sounds like...
Watching his fingers, it looked like he was trying to play some jazz, but he definitely wasn't playing some jazz.
No.
It sounded like when beginning band kids are trying to learn these instruments.
Oh.
That's what it made me think of.
It's still a better sound than a recorder.
I know.
Right, so he says that he's not a sax player, that he played the clarinet.
Yep.
So could those first two attempts been his first time ever with a saxophone, and on the third try finally figures it out, brings his clarinet training to it?
It's a possibility because the clarinet is a very complicated instrument, whereas saxophone's a lot easier because the two registers, the same fingerings, whereas clarinet, the two registers are different.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the registers on clarinet is the exact same as on saxophone. So it's a possibility, but he would have to be a pretty good clarinet player for that to actually happen.
Well, these seem like the kind of kids who were forced to have 4 hours of clarinet lessons or 4 hours of piano lessons after school every day or something. You know what I mean?
That's true. Then yeah, that could have been him trying to figure it out, and then he did figure it out.
It's beautiful. I mean,
that's kind of what I chalk it up to.
I mean, clarinet players, and usually they can switch over to saxophone pretty easy.
It's hard to go from saxophone to clarinet, but going clarinet to saxophone is a lot easier.
Yes.
There you go. Yeah, so that's what I would chalk it up to is him kind of because that third riff that he plays is actually very good.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. I was like, what?
Yeah, I was like, how did he? What? It's like he goes from playing this shitty ass, I don't even know what it is, to this wonderful little ditty here. And I'm like, what?
yeah. Mind blown, exactly. But it's cool, and he's doing some really cool spoken word beat poetry in between it, which is also really cool.
Yeah. I've only ever seen that once, and it was in a different movie, but I don't remember what movie it is.
Kind of reminded me of the guy that Lisa Simpson learns to play the saxophone from on the street.
I don't watch The Simpsons.
No, I haven't watched it in years, but I used to. And she found this street saxophone player, and him doing it kind of reminded me of that because he would play a riff and then give a couple of lines of poetry and then play a riff again and do the same thing, repeat over and over.
Yeah, it was really good.
Gotcha.
Oh, and we did miss one. Okay, so we do have one more thing to talk about in this cave scene, and that is where the guy who brought the girls. He says that he wrote Charlie. I think his name is Charlie. If I'm not mistaken,
is Charlie.
Where he said that he ghost wrote a article for the school newspaper.
Oh yeah.
About how women should be allowed to go to Welton.
Yeah.
And then since he's the one who runs the press. He snuck it into the newspaper without anybody knowing.
Yeah, and he put it in anonymously so that nobody knew exactly who it was. I loved the assembly church meeting thing.
Afterwards, yes.
Yeah, because he also wrote about the Dead Poets Society.
So they're sitting down, and the principal is very unhappy about this article because it's an atrocity that somebody wants women to be accepted into this school.
Yeah. And then he's trying to figure out who it is, and the phone rings.
Yes, this is so good.
And Charlie picks it up, and I don't remember exactly what he says, but he says something about Jesus.
Yeah, he says Wilton Academy, and then he listens to the phone, and then he says, "Professor, it's God." What was it? Yeah, it was. He said it's God.
Oh, he thinks you should let women in.
Yeah.
And then he gets in trouble and he gets paddled.
Yes, he gets his ass whooped.
And that just reminds me of Arya getting her ass whooped in the last chapter. First chapter of second Game of Thrones. She beats the shit out of a little boy, and then she gets her ass whooped for it.
Oh.
Yep.
It's pretty much exactly the same thing, except for he didn't beat somebody up.
No.
Yep. And then everybody is, all the members of the Dead Poet Society are kind of like waiting outside in the dorm hallway for him when he comes out of the headmaster's room.
Yeah.
And they're kind of wondering if he like snitched on everybody. And as he walks into his bedroom, House's best friend says, "Charlie, did you rat us out?" And he just turns around and says, "Nawanda said nothing," and then closes his door.
Yeah, that was funny.
That was good.
He just really plays into everything he does.
Yeah, the kids in this movie are doing a fantastic job.
Yeah. And then it's the play. Well,
his dad
finds out about it.
Yeah, his dad shows up at the school and is none too happy that his son is going to be a fairy in a play.
Yeah. And he figured out that he forged the note saying that he could be in the play, and he's not happy about that either.
Yeah, and then also, what he's most upset about is that he told the neighbor, "Well, no, my son's not in the play with your daughter."
Yeah.
And his son made a liar out of him. And I think that's what he's most upset about.
Yeah.
I can see that.
He seems like the kind of guy who's like, "My word is my bond" type of thing, and you've made a liar out of me to our friends.
Definitely.
Yeah, he's like, "You need to quit this play." He's like, "But it's like opening tomorrow."
Yeah.
And I'm the lead, and I'm fantastic, and I'm awesome, and everybody's counting on me.
Yeah.
And Dad's having none of it.
That's true, and he's really upset.
Yeah, he's really upset that his dad doesn't want him in the play. But then his dad, does he give him permission? Because it seemed like he gave him permission.
Well,
after a bit of arguing.
He does it after, when Neil, he goes and talks to Keating about it. He's saying how my dad doesn't understand that I want to do acting. Acting, is what I really want to do with my life, not be a doctor.
Yeah.
And so Keating's like, "Well, why don't you just tell him what you just told me?"
Yeah.
And that's where he gets to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where he gets the idea it's okay to go ahead and do it. So then we actually have the play.
Yep.
Yeah, and everyone goes, sees it.
Yeah, sees that they... And Neil doesn't think that his dad is going to show up because he knows his dad doesn't want him to do it.
Right. But his dad is not the most supportive of people.
Yeah.
No, he's a dick.
Yeah, he's Red Foreman.
I'm just saying, I wrote that, I'm like, such a dick. It's in my notes.
Yeah, he's very much an asshole. Most of the adults in this movie, except for Keating, are pretty much assholes. The ones that we meet.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're very... That's where I get the whole relationship to the other movies, is because the adults are just... I mean, this is very much a movie geared towards teenagers and young adults, because the older adults in these movies are terrible people.
Yeah. Definitely have that Footloose vibe with all the adults.
No dancing! Leave room for Jesus!
So, his dad actually did show up to the play. And he's standing in the back watching.
Yeah, with his arms crossed, like he would rather be anywhere else. He looks like he would rather be at the proctologist getting his prostate checked than anywhere with his play with his son in it.
That's great. That's exactly... Now that you say that, that is exactly what's pictured there.
Like I kind of understand, so seeing him in this movie and what happens to his son at the end, I kind of see why Eric in that 70s show was stoned all the time. There's no way he could deal with that.
Yeah, definitely. Make that correlation, yeah.
It's all connected. All the movie and TV universes are connected somehow.
Oh yeah.
I can see that.
You just make one connection and you're good. They're all connected.
Yep. So the play goes off without a hitch.
Yep.
Neil is fantastic as Puck in A Midsummer Night's Dream. The last little monologue that he has is absolutely fantastic, and it feels like he's speaking directly to his dad.
That's what I got to.
Yeah, right. And I feel like that's a lot of the reason that his dad is completely irate at the end. So mad at him about it. Is because I feel like his dad also felt that he was speaking directly to him, even though that was the lines of the play.
Right, like he's singling his dad out as this like old curmudgeon.
Yeah.
Which is totally fair, but and so he does such a good job that he gets a curtain call.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic. And then he meets up with Dad after the show, and his friends are there from the school, and Dad basically drags him outside by his ear to the car.
Pretty much. And, like, they're trying to tell him, oh, you're fantastic, and Keating's like, you even silenced me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like even...
And his dad's having none of it. He is just, nope, we're going home because this is ridiculous. You've embarrassed the entire family.
Yeah. And his dad tells Keating, he's like, stay away from my son.
Yeah. Right there is when he's starting to blame Keating for
absolutely.
anything and everything.
It's like Keating has cooties or something.
Yeah.
It's
like he's infecting the kids with, like, the gay.
Pretty much.
Like, I mean, really, like, if you look at this movie, right, you put in homosexuality as, like, you put in, like, poetry and, like, the arts as, like, a stand-in for homosexuality, and it really works as, like, a broader social construct of this movie.
Good point.
Yeah. It's exactly the same situation.
Yeah. Especially in a small conservative town at that time. It's just, I mean, that's the way those towns worked.
Yeah.
And in a lot of ways still work to this day in a lot of small towns.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
We head on off to
home.
To Dad's office at home.
Yeah.
Where Mom is trying to comfort her son.
Yeah.
Without offending Dad and getting hit.
Because that's exactly what would happen.
That's what I was thinking,
it's very much like she can't say anything too supportive because she'll get backhanded if she does.
Yeah. Maybe that's why Missy in that 70s show is always all smiley and everything, because she knows she'll get hit.
Well, then she's drunk.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, she's drunk.
And so Dad is yelling at him and says that he's going to withdraw him from Welton.
Put him in
military school.
Yep.
Yeah. That's always the threat.
It's like, you're going to go to military school.
It's literally...
Now, here's a question. We don't get much information on Dad, but Dad seems like a retired Army officer type of guy.
I don't know. My father-in-law was a military... a Marine gunnery sergeant, and they are nothing...
That's not an officer.
He was pretty high up, and he acts like an officer with us.
The highest non-com you can get, except for Sergeant Major.
Yeah, that was the highest he got because he didn't want to go any higher, and he retired.
Yeah,
and
he didn't go to OCS. Yeah.
Yeah, and he acts like a drill sergeant all the time when we're trying to get something done. And
well, because he's a gunnery sergeant, and that's what gunnery sergeants do. They are the drill sergeants.
Okay.
Yeah, like gunnery sergeant Brickman in Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah, we can't watch that movie because the rest of the day that's all my father-in-law does is act exactly like that.
I can see like an old military guy. I can see that.
They just act completely different to me.
Okay.
But Army and Marines are very different, so...
That's true, yeah. I think more like Army, and I think more like officer, like maybe like a major or something like that, because remember, his son always says yes, sir, to him.
Yeah.
And he has the revolver.
Yeah.
It just, he makes me think of... What I think of his dad is somebody who was in the military, retired rather high up, and then went on into like the business world. And has done rather well for himself, and that's why he's able to send his son to a private school.
Yeah.
Like, give him the opportunities that he never had.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
I can definitely see that.
That's kind of how I draw his dad's character. Because you don't really get any of those details for him.
No.
So I just kind of make up my own headcanon.
It works, though. It does make sense with how he acts and how his son acts.
Approved. Headcanon approved.
And then the one thing that I didn't understand is why he was naked in that next scene. He was naked, walking around the house.
Well, he opened the window.
Yeah. And he had like
And,
his
it's winter time, so he's got like the cold air.
Yeah.
And he's standing right in front of it. It feels like, it seems to me like, right, so he's basically being beaten down and kind of pushed and repressed into this mold that his dad wants him to be. And so it seems to me like it's kind of like I need to feel something.
Okay. That makes sense.
It does make a lot of sense. I was thinking that too.
I was just questioning it. Like, I didn't understand why he was naked, so just needed to know.
That's what it seems like, because then he puts on his fairy king crown.
Yeah.
And then takes it all off.
Yeah.
And heads downstairs to the office.
And grabs his daddy's gun. And to me, the way the sequence was playing, like going from him to his dad, from him to his dad, it looked to me like he was going to go kill his dad.
Yes. The first time I saw this, I thought he was going to go like full Menendez brothers on his dad. Yes.
I didn't think that.
Really?
No, I knew he was going to kill himself.
I didn't.
Maybe because, I don't know, I've been around kids a lot. I just see that, and I have kind of a background in psychology, so...
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because that type of situation can go either way. They can kill themselves or kill their repressor. Like, either way. And to me, it looked like it was going to go the repressor way instead of himself.
I just didn't feel like he would do that.
Yeah. Once he did kill himself, then I was like, yeah, okay, I can see that, why he went that way.
It makes total sense that he killed himself, but also because as the movie progresses, he's starting to stand up for himself more and more.
Yeah.
And I could almost have seen them have him kill his father as kind of like this last step of kind of standing up for himself and becoming his own man.
Yeah.
Kind of like getting rid of the roadblock that's keeping him from being the man that he wants to be.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe there's cutting room floor video where they actually shot that alternate ending. Who knows?
I don't know. I just felt like he was just beat down so much. He just didn't know what else to do. That it was just like, I don't know how am I going to get out of this? And that was one way of doing it.
The way they played it makes perfect sense. Absolutely.
Yeah. First time watching that, I got it.
You would end his life.
I think maybe when I watch it again, then I'll see that side of it. Now that I know exactly what happens.
Yeah.
Right.
I'll look at the other side when I watch it again, too.
There you go. See both sides of it.
Yeah.
I like to play wonderful movies.
Yeah. It's fun.
So then we head back to the school in the middle of the night, and the boys are waking up Neil's roommate.
Yeah.
Not.
It's Todd.
Oh, yeah, and they tell him that Neil is dead.
Yeah. And you can just see it, like, all over their faces. Like, he can already suspect something before they even say anything.
Right. Absolutely. Yep. And so they head outside. Now, I thought, when I first saw this, that they were going to go to the cave to pay homage to him.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Same.
But instead, they just kind of, like, play around in the snow.
Yeah. I feel like it would have been better if they did go to the cave.
Yeah, I thought that's what we were going for there, is heading to the cave to kind of do like an impromptu Dead Poets Society meeting where they read some Shelley and some Thoreau that's kind of like around the theme of death and loss and tragedy.
Yeah.
Which I think might have... I mean, the way they played it, it was very, very strong and emotional, with the one friend who just really can't accept it and like runs down the hill and he's losing his balance and flying out of control. But I think a scene of them doing some poetry would have been even more powerful.
Yeah.
Or even standing there at the top of that hill, gazing out into the distance and shouting just some like, you know, powerful lines of poetry.
Yeah, pulling like
out
a scene with the stalker earlier. Pulling like another one of those where they're doing everything as well as doing the poetry and combining it all.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. With me, I don't know. Maybe I just understand grief really well. But at that moment, they weren't thinking about anything else. They were just thinking about their friend, and so nothing else mattered. So they didn't want like poetry or anything like that because that would remind them of him. So they were just kind of just lost and just in shock.
Well, yeah, I think his roommate running down the hill and losing his footing and falling down and flipping over is kind of like a physical representation of that, right? I mean, he's lost, he can't find his way down, type of thing. He's kind of like out of control for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's like I've done that before. So just like you don't know what to do. You just like your brain goes dead, and you're just like all your grief just like absorbs you.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. And so we jump back to an assembly at the school where everybody's being told that Neil's dead and that there's going to be an inquiry into why he killed himself.
Yeah, and they want information about that and the Dead Poet Society because they think it's linked.
Yeah, they're certain that Professor Keating is the problem because obviously the piece of crap dad who drove him to kill himself isn't the problem.
Thank you for saying that.
Clearly not the issue.
Agreed. This is the part where I was getting pissed off. So
yeah.
Yes. Alicia, when I had her watch this, was getting very mad too. She's like, "It's the dad. He's the problem. What the hell?"
Yeah.
It's like they just throw Keating under the bus. They're like, "Oh, you're the scapegoat. We're just gonna blame
exactly." And that's what the one kid with the red hair, what's his name, Cameron, something like that.
Yeah, Cameron.
Later, he's like, schools go under for things like this. So they're not looking at us. Keating's the problem. We need, he's going to be gone.
Yeah.
So we can stay.
And I feel like that school, it should have gone under with that situation because Keating wasn't the problem. Just let the school go under.
Yeah, get rid of the old white boys club. Yeah.
There we go. That's what I was thinking too.
Because that's what's driving these boys to do something that they don't want to.
Right. Well, and you can see, right. So they all have to meet with the headmaster.
Yeah.
Everybody who's involved in this Dead Poets Society, who Cameron ratted on all of them.
Yeah.
And instead of just having them meet with the headmaster by themselves, where they probably would have felt more comfortable denying everything, they bring their parents in.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
And their parents are very pushy in this situation because they're the ones that want the boys there, whereas the boys would probably be much happier in a public school.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. And they would much rather sacrifice their quote-unquote future for Keating because they're so inspired by him.
Yeah.
But we get to the point where basically they all sign confessions saying that Keating is the problem. Keating was the reason that Neil committed suicide. The whole 9 yards.
They're like, what was part of it said that Keating pushed Neil into the acting.
Yeah.
I'm like...
So basically then we jump to English class, I don't know, the next day or a couple days later, whatever it happens to be.
Yeah.
And the headmaster is now teaching English again.
Yeah. Just taking over until they find someone to teach English. And he wants them...
Which they're going to do...
Go ahead.
But I was going to say which they're going to do at the Christmas break. So he's going to teach them up through the midterms, essentially.
Yeah.
And then over Christmas break, they're going to find a new teacher.
Yeah. And the headmaster is wanting them to read the introduction. And the guy's like, well, we can't.
We ripped it out. Like, everybody ripped it out of their books.
He's like, well, fine, here's my book. It's now ripped out of my book.
Yeah, go ahead, read it out of this one. This is fantastic. And then Professor Keating comes in to get his personal effects.
Yeah. This kind of all happens at the same time, because Keating hears them saying that it's ripped out.
Yeah, he hears them saying it's ripped out. He hears the one kid, Cameron, reading the introduction by... What is it? Blah, 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 Pritchard, Ph.D.
Yeah.
Some excrement crap that he said.
Yeah.
And so he gets his things and he starts to walk out the door. And then...
Todd?
One by one... Yeah, starts with Todd.
Yeah.
Gets up on his desk and says, Captain.
Oh, Captain, my captain.
Yeah.
Yep. Which is our Walt Whitman... The way that they have referred to him throughout the entire movie as Captain based on the Walt Whitman poem.
Yeah, and they're basically showing that they didn't want to do it, that they were forced into it. And Todd even says that. He says they made us sign it. Whoops, I broke my pen.
Yeah, to which Keating says, I know you didn't want to. I know they made you do it.
Yeah.
Because he understands. Because he was a student there.
Yeah. He knows how it works.
Yeah. And so eventually everybody in the Dead Poets Society, except for Cameron, gets up on their desk and says Captain to Keating as he's leaving.
Yep.
And he says, thank you, boys.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you, boys. And then he leaves. And it's very powerful. It's very dramatic. It's very awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we just kind of have Cameron sitting there in his chair like the little shit that he is.
Exactly what I thought. I was like, this kid's a dick.
Well, it's true. It's his fault. Like, he's the one that started it.
It is. Yep. He ratted. He turned.
Yep.
Yep. Snitches get stitches.
Yeah. I have a feeling there will be some stitches in his future.
Well, he did get punched in the face.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Yep. Absolutely. And that's our movie.
Yeah. That's the end.
So good. Exit stage right.
Yeah. So, I'm going to go to the music.
Sure.
All right.
Musica.
So there were some original songs in here, as well as some other ones, like we pointed out, Beethoven and Handel. But the original stuff was by Maurice Jarre. He passed away in 2009 at the age of 84. He did win 3 Oscars and 20 other awards, but his 3 Oscars, his first one was for Lawrence of Arabia from 1962. He won Best Music and Score,
Ooh, great
which
movie.
that movie is on our list.
Yes, it is.
And then his second Oscar for the music and score was in 1966. Dr.
Zhivago.
There you go.
Dr. Zhivago.
It's a classic. You know how Lawrence of Arabia is all about sand? Well, Dr. Zhivago is all about snow. I'm serious.
Okay.
It is. That's pretty much what it is. That one's in the desert. One's like in like Russia and like a bunch of
Like
snow.
Siberia, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's how I figure it out.
Okay. That works.
That's how I keep track of those films. That's how I can do it.
And then his third Oscar was in 1985 for A Passage to India.
I don't know that one.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen any of those, but
I've seen Lawrence and I've seen Doctor.
well, we'll watch Lawrence together eventually.
Yeah.
And then we did, like I said, we had some Handel and some Beethoven.
I like the Beethoven because it was in the original German text.
Yeah. I think they did a good job with the music placement and where it was.
Yes. The music in this movie definitely set the tone.
Yeah.
Well, that's what
They did a
music.
fantastic job of it.
That's what music's supposed to do. It's supposed to invoke some extra emotions.
Well, why don't you tell that to 8.5? That.
Or any currently made movie.
Yeah.
Not a fan of Hollywood, by the way.
Ooh. Modern Hollywood or just Hollywood?
Modern Hollywood. Like anything after like 2005, I could live without it for the most part.
I don't think we have any comparison with this one.
No, not really.
There's nothing it was made off of or made into.
No, but there's some comparisons, like we mentioned before. We had Footloose. We had School Ties.
One thing that I got off of it is this reminds me a lot of Freedom Riders. Because I love that movie, and this is very similar to that, or I guess that's very similar to this because that came out afterwards. And it's this teacher, she's starting in a new school, I believe it's in California, and it's a very gang-ridden school. And just to get all the students to actually listen to her, and she's having a hard time with it, and so she tries to relate to them by using Tupac, and she doesn't know how to say Tupac.
Yeah, that movie's kind of like everybody probably forgot about Dangerous Minds by now, so we're just going to go ahead and basically do a shot-by-shot remake of Dangerous Minds and call it a different name.
I'll have
We're
to.
going to use Tupac instead of Coolio.
Okay.
Oh, I love Coolio.
Different movie.
But she just basically she uses the Diary of Anne Frank to teach them about like stereotypes and racism and
Yes.
stuff like that. So it's not exactly the same as this, but it's very similar. And she just connects with these kids, and
You gotta connect somehow.
yeah,
Yeah, well, right. So it's a lot of movies have that theme where, right? So it's like you have the older generation, and then you have the kids, and there's like they have like nowhere do they meet in between, but then you always have that one adult who can like kind of like
bridge the gap.
Yeah, right. Speak to both generations. I think of like what is it? Lean on Me with Morgan Freeman, where he's the principal of the inner city school.
Oh yeah, that's another one that's like that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot with this same type of concept.
Yeah. People used to call me Crazy Joe. Now they call me Batman. Love that movie.
That's a good movie. All right, so trivia.
Ooh, trivia.
Trivia. Alright, I got a couple. Let's see. So, the script was partly based on Schulman's, he wrote the screenplay for it, experiences at Montgomery Bell Academy, an all-boys school in Nashville, Tennessee, and his professor there, an English professor, named Samuel F. Pickering Jr. And I've actually found some of his books.
Huh?
Yeah. They're actually really interesting reads.
Really?
Yeah, well, teacher
Cool.
stuff.
Oh.
Let's see. It was filmed at St. Andrews, a private boarding school in Delaware.
I've heard of that place, or maybe there's lots of St. Andrews.
You're probably thinking of
Schools.
the golf course in England, St. Andrews,
Oh yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
where golf was invented. St. Andrews.
Alright, then I got two more. So, this is, of course, it was shot in chronological order.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, when Neil kills himself, the director kept Robert away from everybody else.
Oh.
So they can really feel like they had actually lost him.
Dang.
And then the last one I have is, it's the only Best Picture Oscar nominee of that year to also be nominated for Best Screenplay. The only one
That's
from
cool.
that year. The other ones, I guess, screenplay didn't go that well, but
Yeah.
You would think that if you're nominated for Best Movie, that you would probably also be nominated for Best Screenplay. It
you
seems
would
it make-
think. You would think that, but I mean,
except for current movies, because they don't really have screenplays.
Yeah.
that's true. I mean, you gotta depends on the movie.
Oh, like,
lot
I'm Michael Bay. Look, I just make big explosions with no
Oh
script.
my god.
Boom!
Oh, ouch.
Which is why I will never watch the newest Transformers movie.
I haven't either. I haven't bothered. I'm like, this is no. Just all bunch of explosions. That's it. Alright, so that's pretty. I mean, there was a lot of trivia. We mentioned some earlier, you know, how
Yeah.
that was Robin Williams' actual picture.
Yeah.
So, those are the ones I thought were pretty interesting.
Yeah, that was very interesting.
Good stuff.
Alright, so where it has been on the list before, it actually has never been on the list before, this list that we are currently on.
What?
Really?
Yeah, it was not on the list.
That is shocking.
And then
You
as
just happened
of...
to pick the perfect week where it was on there.
Yeah, having to pick the
Bingo.
perfect time. Because it
Nice.
actually is on the list now at number 235, or no, number 230, so it did move up 5 spots from when
Cool.
I looked at it to now.
That's good.
Yeah. But it was not on that previous, so like
That's
2000.
kind of interesting that it's kind of like having like almost like a second renaissance now. Like it hasn't ever been on like the top list, and then all of a sudden in the late 2000s, it's all of a sudden like at the top of the list.
Yeah.
Maybe because of Robin. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Could have been Robin Williams' death. Well, that was a couple years ago at this point.
Yeah. Just
Yeah, his anniversary was just like a few
a
days
couple
ago.
days ago, yeah.
Yeah.
Then previously, number 235, the 2010 list was The Philadelphia Story from 1940.
Oh. Oh, the 1940 version.
The
Okay.
1940 one, yeah.
And then one that I'm jealous that we don't get to watch. At least I
Same.
don't think we get to watch. I don't think it's on the list. From 2012 is Nosferatu from 1922.
Classic.
I'm jealous that that's not on our list.
I know. Classic. Oh.
And then the 2014 list, Roman Holiday from 1953.
Yes. Audrey Hepburn. Love her.
And then the 2016 list, Catch Me If You Can from 2002.
Oh, good one, Tom Hanks. Nice.
And then, as of today, Jaws is number 235.
Oh, we just watched Jaws.
Yeah. It moves around a lot.
I can see that. It probably goes like up and down, especially like during like Shark Week or something.
Yeah, Shark Week it goes up a lot.
Yeah.
Because everybody's watching it.
Mm-hmm. Plus, it's a summer movie, so I bet you it's higher in the summertime than it is in like the wintertime.
Yeah, definitely.
It's got a point there.
But I feel like Meg might take its place because people are raving over Meg.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't either, but everybody that I know that has seen it said it's exactly what they wanted. Like, it's a really stupid movie, but it's exactly what they wanted from the really stupid movie.
Oh, okay. I'm like, I only know like Rainn Wilson's in it. That's about all I got there.
And the bald guy from something.
Jason Statham.
Yes, him.
We're getting better at this.
Yeah, Jason Statham. I'll probably have to see it.
Yeah, it's about a megalodon, and Jason Statham basically fights a megalodon, I think.
Oh, I just know. I mean, Dwight Schrute's in it, so maybe.
And apparently, it's better when you're drunk.
We'll have to
It
get
sounds like
drunk
a
and watch
sci-fi
it.
original movie. Jason Statham versus Megalodon.
Yeah, definitely does sound like a sci-fi original movie. All right, so favorite line.
We'll let our guests go first.
All right, I brought another one just in case. So I used the poetry earlier.
Yep.
But there is another great line from John Keating that I really like, and that is, "There's a time for daring and there's a time for caution, and a wise man understands which is called for."
That's a good one.
Yeah, I liked that one. I had two. One of them was when they were in class, they were doing something stupid, and Keating goes, "We're not laughing at you, we're laughing near you."
Yes.
I thought that was funny. I was like, I'm going to use that. And then my other one was, "Oh, Captain, my Captain," at the end.
Oh, Captain, my Captain.
I was like, that's just perfect.
I mean, you can't go wrong picking Whitman as your favorite line, so.
Yeah. You got some?
I got two. They're right next to each other.
Good
I'm
for
like,
you.
what thing?
Look at that.
Alright, so I have two, both Keating, of course. I'll do the first one. It says, "Boys, you must strive to find your own voice, because the longer you wait to begin, the less likely you are to find it at all." Thoreau said, "Most men live lives of quiet desperation. Don't be resigned to that. Break out."
That's a good one. I
It
like
is.
that one.
And this one is actually my favorite of like the whole movie.
Okay.
Keating, of course. "No matter what anybody tells you, words and ideas can change the world."
Absolutely.
Oh, I like that one.
Yep.
Now we gotta pick one.
I know, we gotta pick one. They're all good.
There has to be a winner?
Yeah, we always pick one winner.
Always.
Well, I know that, but I mean, come on, this is best screenplay material here.
I know. Should we be nice? Let him pick?
Yeah, he can pick.
Yeah, we'll let you pick.
I'm gonna go with the last one.
No matter what anybody tells you, words and ideas can change the world.
Absolutely, because you have to believe that, or else there's no point in living.
All right.
Amen to that.
That will be our favorite line. So, our rating. Do you want me to go first since mine's different than y'all's?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Mine is a 7. Because I liked it, but it wasn't one of those that I'm like absolutely in love with.
I get you. Okay.
Because it's really good, and it's one of those that I will watch again. Probably not 100 times, but I will watch it again every now and then. Maybe it'll be my Robin Williams anniversary movie.
There you go.
That's a good one to watch for his anniversary.
I mean, because I'll watch Aladdin whenever I want.
Yeah, that's true.
And Miss Doubtfire, I'll watch that whenever I want. But this can be my Robin Williams anniversary movie.
Man, he did a lot of movies, though.
Yeah, but those are my favorite ones.
We've got so many good ones, too. 1 Hour Photo.
Yep.
Yeah.
I liked Bicentennial Man.
Patch
yeah,
Adams.
that one's a good one.
Patch Adams, yes, with the red nose. Okay, so mine, I gave it an 8.
Okay.
Solid 8, yeah. I was like, well, it's like, it's not like Wizard of Oz to me that I can watch a million times over.
Yeah.
But it connected to me with the teaching side and Robin Williams, and like, this is not like Robin Williams being like super funny all the time. This is a more serious role.
Yeah.
In which I like his serious roles.
Mm-hmm.
I just do. And
which is funny because I don't really like comedy, and I like his more funny roles than his serious roles.
Yeah.
But I don't like comedy.
Yes, I give it it's a solid 8 for me. I will definitely watch it again. It might actually be, I was talking to my friend about this, it's a good movie to watch right before the school year starts.
Oh, okay. So
it might be
back
my
to school movie?
My back to school movie.
There you go. And what did you give it?
I go 9.
All right.
This is a movie that I first saw when I was about the same age as the boys in this movie.
Okay. 17, 18.
So, I was also, it spoke to me, especially taking place so heavily around English class because I was an English major in college. So we did a lot with poetry and things like that. And this movie kind of spoke to that part of me at that time in my life.
All right.
That makes complete sense.
It definitely does. I feel like if I had seen it at that point, then I probably would like it a little bit more because it would make more of a connection with me.
I was like, I made a connection to me right now, but...
Yeah. But you're a teacher, so
I
you
am
saw
a teacher.
the teaching side
I saw
of
the
it.
teaching side of it. Now, if I was younger, I'd probably see the kids side.
Yeah. So our next film is Annie Hall from 1977.
Yep.
No, thank you.
Not a big Woody Allen fan, I'm guessing?
Gonna skip out on that one.
Not a fan.
It's a romantic comedy. Two of my favorites.
Yep, romantic comedy. About the only romantic comedy I like is The Breakup.
I don't like romantics or comedies.
Oh, I know.
Dawn and Jennifer Aniston. That's my only romantic comedy.
Is it because of Jennifer Aniston?
No, it's actually because of Vince Vaughn.
Oh, I was like, I mean, everyone loves Jennifer Aniston.
I do love Jennifer Aniston. I was a huge Friends fan when it was on TV.
Yeah,
But I love Vince Vaughn. He has that very British sense of humor, that dry, sarcastic wit,
Yes.
Yeah.
which I just absolutely love, and he's like a master of it.
That's true.
So, Matt is our very first contest winner. Not concert winner.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. It was I've always wanted to talk about this movie, so I finally got the chance.
There you
It was
go.
great.
Glad we could offer the chance to you. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Absolutely.
But you do have your own show, and we kind of talked about it a little bit.
Yeah.
More like hints towards it. So if you want to give a little rundown of it, go for it.
Sure. So I'm on a show with two of my friends, and we do a read through of the A Song of Ice and Fire books by George R. R. Martin, the books that the Game of Thrones TV show is based on.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going chapter by chapter, book by book. We just started the second book,
Yep.
Clash of Kings, and we have a lot of fun doing that. And you can find it on iTunes and Stitcher and all that under the Ironwood Network or A Song of Ice and Fire Book Club.
Yep. It's a lot of fun. I listen to it every time it comes out. I was behind once, but that's because I went on vacation.
Oh.
And then she got in trouble.
Yeah, I did get in trouble, so I'm not allowed to be behind anymore. I got in trouble. In multiple episodes, I got in trouble.
Yeah, Lady Wyvern was none too happy that you were behind.
Yeah. But I'm all caught up. Like I said, we did have the contest, and he was our first winner. So we're still running that contest. 1 out of every 10 people that leave a positive written review will be selected via random number generator to join us for a movie of your choice. Make sure you email or message us a picture, like a screenshot of that, because I don't check it every day.
Yeah,
But I do check it like once a week, so that way we know when it's done. We only have one review right now from our contest winner, but it's a nice one.
Yeah, it is a nice one.
So make sure you leave a review.
Yes, we'd love to hear what you think. It helps us.
It does.
It really does. Because sometimes we just go off, so.
Yeah, as you can tell from our Harry Potter episodes. And
we apologize for the first Harry Potter one.
If you went through that, thank you.
Bravo! I'm giving you some claps right now because
props.
That was
long.
That was a long one. I'll admit that. It was long for us. It was probably long for you if you listened. So, thanks for listening anyways. So.
Yeah, and that being our first event, we learned what we need to do for the next one.
Exactly. We know what to do. All right.
And we are also starting in September premium episodes. So if you pay for premium, you will get access to uncut episodes when they're available. Also, early release episodes. So you'll get them Monday instead of Friday, as long as I have them edited by Monday. And then also, once a month, you'll get a special episode from us, like our one for September. If you vote on Twitter or Facebook, you will pick from one of our movies that neither of us really ever wants to watch, but you get to pick and make us watch it. So there's that for you. So where to find us?
All right, so you can find us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Cat and Jess Talk the Best. Our email is catandjesstalkthebest250@gmail, and our website is catandjesstalkthebest.podbean.com.
Yep. And the show is everywhere. iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube. And if you want to listen to every episode, they are all always going to be on Podbean, the website. And our opening music is by Audio Binger. You can find him on Facebook, YouTube, and his website, audiobinger.net. And also, coming up in 3 months, we are doing our Halloween episode. So make sure you stay tuned for that one as well.
It's like we love Halloween, so it should be a fun episode.
Yes. I think that's all we got.
Yeah. It's nice talking with you.
Yeah.
You too.
Well, thank
you.
you.
It was a lot of fun recording with you guys. I can't wait for the episode to come out. I think it's going to be really good.
Yeah.
I think so.
It's going to be a good one.
Agreed. It's going to be good.
Absolutely. All right. You guys have a good evening.
You too. Have a good weekend.
Bye.
She has a porg.
I do have a porg. He's so cute.